Greetings, Chairperson Marion. My name is Renee Reopell, and I'm a former resident of Ward 5. I'd like to thank the committee for conducting this oversight hearing and providing me with the opportunity to testify today. During my time in the district, I had the pleasure of interning at the DC Center for the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Community. As one of my roles at the DC Center, I was charged with heading the Bathroom Access Project, designed to support the enforcement of Chapter 8, Title 4 of District Municipal Regulations, which includes that all single-stall restrooms in the district must be gender neutral. This regulation is housed under the Office of Human Rights, and they have been trusted with enforcing it. As a part of this program, I would visit businesses in the district and make sure they were aware of and compliant with this particular regulation. At the conclusion of my time on this project, I had visited over 100 local DC businesses. However, only one business owner claimed to know anything about this regulation, and furthermore, an astounding 70% of businesses were not compliant. At the conclusion of my internship, I had reported 63 businesses to the Office of Human Rights. This is in addition to the 156 restrooms submitted to OHR 2 years prior by the DC Transgender Coalition. Of the 156 submissions, only 11 establishments were personally investigated by this office. When this regulation was enacted in 2006, DC was seen as a leader in progressive politics. We joined only 13 other states in protecting gender identity and expression, and for that I see us as a pioneer. However, based on the aforementioned statistics, I'm compelled to point out that our laws can be the most progressive in all the country, but without enforcement they are rendered meaningless. While my experience with the Office of Human Rights was limited to this particular area, I'm deeply concerned about the performance of this office. There seems to be a general apathy for transgender concerns. In speaking with this office time after time, I was left with the feeling that transgender individuals and their rights were not seen as a priority, as if their safety and well-being was less important than other populations. It is disturbing to me that after 4 years it's taken this long. On a similar note, the office has taken until 2010 to recognize the discrepancy between their regulations and the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs and the Department of Health. They conceded that after the enforcement of Chapter 8, businesses had been directed by DCRA and DOH to require restrooms be gender-specific. While I'm glad to see that the office has a temporary halt on the enforcement of gender-specific signs, both laws were adopted in 2006, and I'm perturbed that this discrepancy has gone virtually unnoticed for 4 years. My hope is that this temporary hold will result in permanent change. I'd like to point out that on March 13th of this past year, 2 transgender women were beaten with metal poles after trying to use a women's restroom. These women were simply trying to pee in peace, and this atrocity took place while the Office of Human Rights was dragging their feet on enforcing this issue. Based on the aforementioned evidence, I believe there needs to be a thorough investigation of this agency. Perhaps this is a small issue that has fallen by the wayside, or perhaps this is indicative of a bigger concern. I personally am unsure. However, with transgender people in the district risking their lives each and every day to simply live as who they truly are, I'd like to make sure this office is doing a comparable effort.
Thank you very much. Who are you working for doing this survey?
During the time of the Bathroom Access Project, this is housed at the DC Center for the LGBT community. We worked in conjunction with the DC Transgender Coalition.
Who has the responsibility for the enforcement of this act?
The Office of Human Rights.
And you believe, as I do, that whatever moratorium there was ought to be taken off. What are the penalties?
From non-compliant businesses are given 30 days to comply, and if they don't comply after those 30 days, there's fiscal penalties.
Who gives them 90 days? The Office of Human Rights?
The Office of Human Rights.
Okay, we're going to have the director up here, and Mr. Vasquez is asking why are we doing that. He did discuss it with me, but I didn't know as much as I know now because of your testimony.
It's been in place since 2006.
Well, time to end it. Time to end it. So rest assured, we're going to move on that.
Thank you, sir.